In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Step 2 of the 4-step process for learning your driving theory. Step 2 is about taking topic tests based on the official DSA practice material, which builds on the material which you learnt in Step 1. So let's get started by clicking on the Step 2 button. We're now on the Step 2 page of the site, and we can see that the Step 2 button is now green, giving us a visual clue as to where we are. The panel on the right tells us to make sure that we've already used Step 1 to learn about the material. It tells us that each topic has a panel below. It also tells us that the panels will start out as red and then change to amber and green as we answer the questions correctly. And then it tells us to aim to get all panels green, which will mean that we've scored at least 90% in all of the topics. So let's get started by scrolling down to the topic panels. We can see at the top of the page we have a product called the Theory Master. The Theory Master will construct tests for you automatically based on your past test results. We're not going to cover the Theory Master in this video, but we will do in a later video. So moving down to the panels, we're going to take a test on accidents. So we now have a pop-up window asking us which type of test we'd like to take. We can take a test on the complete topic, which in this case comprises of 3 modules and 79 questions, or we could take a test on just Module 1 or Module 2 or Module 3. For this demonstration, I'm going to take a test on Module 1, which we can see comprises of 27 questions. Now we need to determine which type of questions to answer from our module. We can answer all of the questions in the module. We can answer questions which we haven't previously answered or which we previously answered incorrectly, or we can answer questions which we previously added to my questions. I'm going to answer all questions in our selected module. We're now about to start our topic test on accidents. This first page gives us the opportunity to look at the picture-based learning material associated with this topic, but I won't go through that here as it works in the same way as we saw in the learning material in our Step 1 video. So we'll click the Start Topic Test button and just take a few moments to read the warning at the bottom of the page, which tells us not to use our browser back or forward buttons whilst we're answering questions. It's important that you only use the buttons provided on the pages in order to prevent the browser taking you out of the questions area and causing you to lose your test results. So let's press the Continue button. So we're now on the question pages, and the first time that you come to these pages after having logged in, you'll be presented with this pop-up window which tells you about the learning tools which are available to you whilst you're taking topic tests. I'll close this box for now and we'll look at each of the tools individually. Over on the left hand side we have this vertical toolbar comprising of 6 buttons. The top button shows you the official DSA explanation for the question to help you understand what the question is about and to help you determine the correct answer. We have a tool which will hide some of the incorrect answers, a little like the TV program Who Wants to Be a Millionaire 50-50 option. It doesn't hide half the questions exactly, but what it will do is hide some incorrect answers. So you can see here that having pressed that button, the top 2 answers have now been greyed out. So we know that the correct answer to this question is going to be either variable message signs or areas marked with hatch markings. If we're really stuck, we can ask the software to show us the correct answer, which is done here. We can add a question to my questions so we can come back to it later, and if we so wish we can remove a question from my questions when we're happy that we understand and can remember the answer. We can also add notes to a question, and this is quite useful if you want to come back to a question and you need your own aide-memoire as to what the correct answer is. And the final button pops up the window which we saw when we came to this page, reminding us what each of the toolbar buttons is about. I'll close this box. We can also flag questions, which allows us to easily come back to those questions at the end of the test before we have the test marked. Unusual or difficult to understand words or phrases have a red underline. If you hover your mouse over the word or phrase, a pop-up box will appear describing that word or phrase. In this case, hatch markings are described as being painted road markings that cross each other in the shape of a hash, and that you can find these at box junctions. You can listen to English voiceovers by clicking on the green triangles.
You are going through a long tunnel. What will warn you of congestion or an incident ahead?
I'm now going to carry on and answer some of the questions in this test. I'll answer some correctly and some incorrectly, and then we'll carry on at the results page, where I'll show you how you can measure how well you're doing, which questions you got right, which questions you got wrong, and understand why you got them wrong. Okay, so I've now answered some of the questions. We can see that the test had a total of 27 questions. I've answered 5 of them, I haven't answered 22 of them, and I haven't flagged any questions. I'm now going to end the test to see my results. So we can see here that out of the 5 questions I answered 2 of them correctly and 3 of them incorrectly. To look at the detail of my incorrectly answered questions, we can scroll down to these panels, and we can see in each panel we have the question, the list of possible answers with a green tick indicating the correct answer or answers, the DSA explanation, and the answer which I gave. So we can see here that the correct answer was apply pressure over the wound and raise the arm. My incorrect answer was apply pressure over the wound and keep the arm down. For the second question, we can see the correct answer was 10 minutes. My answer was 5 minutes. And for the final question, we can see there were 3 correct answers of driving licence, insurance certificate, and MOT test certificate. We can see my answers were vehicle registration document, theory test certificate, and MOT test certificate, with my only correct answer being MOT test certificate. So in summary, Step 2 builds on Step 1 by providing topic tests around the official DSA practice material, allowing you to prepare for the next step, Step 3, of taking mock tests which are designed to be like the real DSA tests.